Hi everyone. Good morning. Welcome to Tea Time Data Talk series by Quantetics Academy. So my name is Hank and I am the host for today lah. All right. So in today's event, in Tea Time Data, what is blockchain technology? We are going to explore a little bit more on the blockchain with our experts from Proximex, Mr. Joe. And then I believe a lot of us actually heard about the blockchain when our friends or family talking about cryptocurrency lah. But trust me, that is not all about blockchain only. Okay. All right. So we'll be sharing about how blockchain impacts the internet revolution. Okay, in the newest era, and then how it actually works for the public and how it affects our lifestyle. Okay. So for Mr. Joe, he will be sharing with us a few of the actual use cases of blockchain later. All right. So let's not wait any longer. We are very honored to invite Mr. Joe from Proximex. Welcome. Hi, Mr. Joe.
Hi, Heng.
Hello, can you hear me, right? All right.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can
so
hear you.
Mr. Joe, I hope that you have a good breakfast earlier. Okay.
Yes, I did.
So just a quick understanding with Mr. Joe, right? For all of you, Mr. Joe has been building his career in the data industry. It's already 15 years lah, right? So I think he's a very experienced and knowledgeable person to share with us his insight about the blockchain today. All right. So, Mr. Joe, you can have a quick introduction about yourself, and we can actually move into the content of the day, lah. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So, yeah, I am Joe Chai from Proxima X. So, Proxima X is a blockchain technology company focusing on building blockchain solutions for government and enterprises. So, today I will share about what is blockchain technology. Okay. So blockchain has been touted to revolutionize the way system work. I'm sure of you here have heard of blockchain, the word, right, the buzzword. But blockchain solutions are complicated, and organizations they are struggling. Right? They struggle with understanding, adopting, developing, and deploying this technology. So not many companies uh, actually adopt blockchain due to the complexity of deploying the technology. So today I'm going to talk about the overview of blockchain. And let me start with the internet revolution. So today I think all of us here, we agree that despite the fantastic success of internet technology, we face a lot of limitations such as compromised data security, privacy. I believe last week you heard about people hacking Facebook. Facebook, I think, was down for uh, 30 minutes, something like that. Then 18 billions of personal data are exposed in the dark web. So this is all the consequences of centralization and monopolism. So because we are storing all our personal data, our information with the organization, right? Like Facebook, Google, or Twitter and LinkedIn. So basically, blockchain provides the technical and economic system to support scalable and decentralized networks. So one word that you will hear about blockchain is decentralized, like decentralization, compared to centralization uh, of what we are having today. So if you remember in 1969 when messages are sent from computer to computer in different locations, so that is the start of internet. Before that, uh, uh, a local area network is confined to a certain area and it is not connected. So it is when World Wide Web was introduced and internet become widely usable. It is used by most of the people, and today is part of our life. And Bitcoin was created in 2008 by Satoshi Nakamoto. So I'm sure of you here heard of Bitcoin, and is one of the hottest topic in the internet now. And it, blockchain didn't become very popular back then, 2008, until 2013 when blockchain 2.0 is introduced with the Ethereum smart contract. So the smart contracts actually introduce more use cases for blockchain. And when it comes to Bitcoin, it is only the value transaction. So one person send to another person how many Bitcoins. He used a Bitcoin to purchase a pizza. I'm sure all of you hear about this story. And it is used as a cryptocurrency. There's no other use cases. But when smart contract is introduced, so now enterprises basically can use the smart contract in their operation and in their business activities. So later I'll show about the use cases. And now we are in 2020, 2021. We talk about blockchain interoperability. Today we have many blockchain networks. So Bitcoin network, and then Ethereum network, and then there are so many other blockchain networks available today. So all of them, they are like back then in the local area network, they are all silo. So one blockchain network can talk to another blockchain network, and and it limit, right, it limit the interoperability between all these network, and therefore the industry is focusing on building the interoperability between different blockchain network now. So in the future, we will see the internet of blockchain, right? So regardless what type of network you are on, whether you are on Bitcoin network or Ethereum network or even Proxima X network, you will be able to send the transaction, right, across to different networks. Okay. And then we talk about Web 3.0. So when we talk about blockchain, Web 3.0 is always brought up. So like Web 1.0 is mainly about like the website where we used to have HTML, emails, and it's very boring. And then now we have Web 2.0, where it is more about informative and interactive, right? Like Facebook, you can interact with people. Right? Twitter, you can tweet, you interact with people. So it become two-way. Previously, 1.0, it is only one way, right? From the website to the user. And then now we are in Web 2.0, interactive. But now we are progressing into Web 3.0. So the founder of World Wide Web actually points out that Web 3.0 aims to change the way how web applications work today. So the idea is to bring data ownership as well as improve privacy by developing a platform for linked data applications. They're completely decentralized and fully under user control rather than controlled by other entities. Now all our data are controlled by entities like Facebook, Google, LinkedIn, Twitter, and all that. But it is not controlled by the user. And and where and as a user, as an owner of the user, we should be able to control it, and we can actually decide who can access our data, right? So that should be the way. So I give you an example of Web 3.0. People are talking about building a Web 3.0 Facebook. So what does it mean, a Web 3.0 Facebook? So now today, Facebook use our data for their commercialization, right? So they work with advertiser and then they push the advertisement to the user, and they sell our personal data to different advertiser that fit their target groups, right? But as a user, we get nothing out of it. So we are basically providing our data for free. But a Web 3.0 Facebook or Web 3.0 social network means that as a user, we can control who have access to our data. So if the platform or the social network, they wish to share our data with the advertiser, they will need to seek our approval. And then as a user, I can approve or reject. And if I approve, I can set a certain condition, for example, a profit sharing, right? So if you want to sell my data to advertiser, you will need to incentivize me, right? So this is all about incentivization to the user, like rather than everything is controlled by a single entity. So this is what we call a decentralized application, a DApp, right? Another acronym for decentralized application is a DApp. I'm sure probably you have heard of it. And then when we come to Industry 4.0, it is a combination of multiple technologies to develop a holistic solution. So when in the Industry 4.0, we have technologies like IoT, Internet of Things, we have AI, artificial intelligence, and then also definitely we have blockchain and also 5G. So if you imagine, all of these technologies must work hand in hand in order to provide a complete solution. So imagine, so if you have the IoT devices at the field, right, but you have no connectivity to transmit all this data that is collected by the sensor to the back end, then there is no way for AI or big data analytics to analyze the data and produce informative or business intelligence to the user. So and then if you do not have the IoT devices and all that, and there is no use case for AI as well, because when you have when you don't have data, the AI can't work, right? AI or machine learning, you need to provide a lot of data for the algorithm to learn and produce useful information. And blockchain is always overlooked, right? Because blockchain always stay at the back end. So people only see the AI, which is the front end, the nice graph, the dashboard, and then IoT is the devices, the hardware devices on the ground, on the field, and then the network, which is like the 5G network and all that. So blockchain is always hiding in the back, but blockchain provide uh, uh, features like securing the data and to make sure the data is tamper-proof, so you can't manipulate the data. So imagine if you can actually manipulate the data, then there is no point for AI. So because whatever the result produced by AI is manipulated, so it's not a genuine result. So it is tempered, it is manipulated for certain purpose. So AI is useless in this case. So this is a reason why Industry 4.0 brings together different technologies to provide holistic solutions for the industry. So today I will focus on the blockchain. So what is a blockchain? So blockchain is a distributed, immutable, growing list of transactional records. So it is like the bank ledger, right? If you remember last time we have a small booklet, the 555 booklet, like a ledger where everyone records the transaction. Okay, today I go to the market, I spend 50 ringgit, right? And then I record it. Okay, what date I spend 50 ringgit on that. So it reminds me, right? When I need to do my accounting, then I know I have the ledger to refer to where I spend my money over the last 1 month. So similarly, it is a ledger that is stored in a distributed manner. So another word for blockchain is a distributed ledger technology. So and it is stored in the format of like a block. So every 15 seconds, the blockchain network will produce a block, and the latest data will store in the latest block. So and then after 15 seconds, another new block is produced, and then the new data will be stored in the new block. So and all these blocks are chained together and secure using cryptography. So cryptography is basically using public key infrastructure to encrypt the data, right, and produce the hash. So if you look at the picture, our conventional centralized database is all stored in a centralized server, a centralized database, and that is the reason why it is uh, easy to hack. Right? So for hacker, they just need to hack. They just need to launch a targeted attack to a server, to an IP, and then you can easily hack into it and steal the information. However, when it comes to blockchain, since all the data is recorded in different server, different computer, in different location, so it is distributed, and every one of them holding the same copy. So like Bitcoin, they have more than 10,000 nodes now, and they have more than 10,000 copies in different locations, and you don't even know where are they stored. So it could be in the house, it could be in the office, it could be in the cloud. So it is impossible to hack every one of them. So if the hacker only hack one or two of them, or minority 20%, 30% of them, you can't change the result, because majority wins, right? So the majority of the node will decide that, okay, some of these nodes are hacked, so let's exclude them and continue from there. So they will know the majority are the nodes that are holding the correct result. So and therefore it is tamper proof. So if you only hack some of them, the network will always validate with each other and says that, okay, this is not the real result, and you can't actually change it. And uh, that is why we always call it immutable. So whatever you recorded in a block, you can't change it. Unlike database you can always go back to modify the record, to change it, to delete it, whatever. But in a blockchain, there is no way for you to delete the data. So imagine it is only a write only features, and you can't do any other thing like deleting it or editing. So whatever updated data will be stored in a new block with a new timestamp. So every 15 seconds, it will generate a new timestamp, and then it is linked with the next block. So this is the details, right? In a more detailed description. So for example, if someone requests a transaction or sending a transaction, let's say for example, I'm sending you a transaction, and the requested transaction is broadcasted to a P2P network, right? A peer-to-peer network consisting of computers. I mentioned about nodes. So node can be a computer, a server, or even a virtual machine in the cloud. So or it can be just a hardware device. Like Bitcoin, they are using different type of device. They call it N miner, because they need super high performance computing power, right, to compete. But and then eventually the network of node will validate the transaction, right, using a known algorithm, and the verified transaction can include cryptocurrency or smart contract or any type of records. Right? In the enterprise use cases, it has other type of transaction, like a medical records, land registry, and digital signature and all that, which is leveraged on the blockchain technology. And when it is verified, the transaction is combined with the other transaction in the block, and then to create a new block. So every block is has a unique fingerprint. So like human, we have everyone always have a unique fingerprint. So my fingerprint is different from yours fingerprint. So every block has a different unique fingerprint, or we call it a digital fingerprint, and therefore you can't simply change it, because this fingerprint will be recorded in the next block. So if you change something in the block, or then the fingerprint will not match with the fingerprint in the next block. And then so it become like a domino effect. So if you change one block, you have to change all the subsequent block, or else it won't work. But that is impossible when it is held by so many different nodes. So it will always cross-check with each other, and therefore it is immutable, like tamper-proof, and the transaction is completed and permanent. So it is always there. Whatever transaction that happened 10 years ago, it is still there. So when it comes to blockchain, there are two types of blockchain: the public blockchain and also the private blockchain. What we hear about Bitcoin is basically a public blockchain, where anyone, right, anyone can participate as a node. So imagine it like a concept of Airbnb or Grab, right? So Airbnb basically they provide the platform, and any property owner can join the network and rent out the room or the unit to anyone to stay. So they don't the Airbnb platform they don't own the property, but they allow anyone to participate. And in the public network, in the public blockchain, you requires a cryptocurrency as an incentive to the node owner. So as a node provider, I basically contribute my computing resources, my computer, uh, to record the transaction and to verify the transaction, and therefore I will receive incentive for the resources that I contribute. So the incentive here is the cryptocurrency. That is why you hear people talking about miner, Bitcoin miner, right? They receive Bitcoin when they do mining. So basically, mining means you are providing computing resources to the network, and you get an incentive for it, just like Airbnb. So if people stay in your room in your house, so you get an incentive for that. You will receive the payment, the money from the platform, and then it is highly decentralized. As in anyone, like anyone can participate. So probably they are hosting the node in their house, in their garage, or in the cloud, or any places. So it is very highly decentralized. No one knows where they are hosted, and of course it has a lower throughput due to the highly decentralized architecture and the high energy consumption. As we all hear, Bitcoin have a high energy consumption because you have to compete, right? You have to compete to validate the transaction. So the higher spec of your PC, so the higher chances of you getting the reward, right? Validating the transaction. So then when it comes to private network is always set up for private enterprises, right? And government, because for big enterprises, they have this, they want to have control, right? They have the IT policy where they want to have control over the computer or the server. So, and then the participants are pre-selected. So they only allow their partners, right? Their partners or their stakeholders to participate in the network. And there is no cryptocurrency normally because it is all hosted by the organization or the consortium, and therefore you don't need to have a cryptocurrency to reward the people who are hosting the node. So it is all internally hosted. And because of this, you have low decentralization because one or a few organization is hosting the network and controlled by the consortium. So and therefore you have a high throughput and low energy consumption. So this is the use cases that have been implemented around the world today using blockchain technologies. So you can see some of the famous use cases are like digital identity and KYC. So digital identity has becoming very uh, important due to the fact that our digital identity is always stolen. Right? We have so many digital identity in the Facebook, in LinkedIn, in Twitter, our email addresses, but it has been misused by many people due to the fact that it can be easily hacked and sold in the dark web. So, and therefore, in the Europe, they are coming up with a digital identity framework, right, where uh, you have to go through like, a process of KYC. KYC here is know your customer. Just like when we go to a bank, we have to when I want to open an account, I have to submit my ID, my driving license, my all the document that prove that I am who I am, and then only then I'll be allowed to open an account. So similarly, with the digital identity, I have to prove that I am who I am. So and then after that, I can have one identity, and I can use it to store different type of credentials, right, from passport, driving license, ID, even medical records and university certificates. So all under one application. So and you use it uh, to travel across different countries in the Europe. So this is one of the latest initiated by the European Commission to introduce a universal digital identity within the European Union, EU, and also uh, it is used for the healthcare record or electronic medical records because the healthcare record is one of the sensitive data that everyone, right? Everyone want to protect, right? I'm sure no one wish to have our own medical records exposed to the world, like what happening over the last few years. There are so many hacking. You hear people hack into the Singapore health Sing health system and expose a lot of all these patient records. And then similarly in Malaysia, we can see that sometimes it appear. I think it was a few years ago where a list of all the organ donors appeared in Lao Yat forum, right? So all these are very sensitive information and dangerous to the user. So by having a blockchain technology to secure it, right? Because we use the cryptography to encrypt it, and the only way you can decrypt it is by using your own private key, and then the private key is stored on your own application on your device rather than storing in the server. You have your username and password all stored in the server, and what the hacker need to do is just to hack the database, and they can compromise millions or billions of record easily. But when all this access the private key is stored in the individual devices, then you can imagine it is difficult to hack uh, one by one, right? To hack the devices one by one. So imagine if you have 1 billion user and you need to hack 1 billion devices. So it becomes very slow, right? Very difficult for the hacker to hack all the information. And therefore, that is the fundamental of blockchain. You hear about people losing their Bitcoin, millions of Bitcoin due to they lost their private key. So no one can help them to recover the private key except yourself. So unlike a bank, so if you forget your password, you can always go back to a bank and request for a new password. And this is where the bank is storing all your password. So if the bank system is compromised, meaning all your password is compromised. So and in 2008, and if you remember, that was during the subprime mortgage crisis, and many banks actually bankrupt. So like Lehman Brothers, and people lose their money in the bank, and therefore Bitcoins is introduced at time to provide a decentralized financial system. So you will basically hold your own money in your own wallet. No other people have access to it except yourself. So you have the private key in your device, and you store it somewhere else so that no one can steal it. In case if your device is stolen or faulty, then you can recover your account by entering the private key. So it is always uh, 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 how to say reminded. If users are reminded to store their private key somewhere else, right, or in a separate USB drive, or even write it out on a piece of paper, right, to make it even more secure, right, so that if you lose your phone, you lose your computer, you still have the private key to recover your account. And of course, when it comes to enterprise use cases, it is a different story, right? So in the enterprise, you can't expect everyone, right? Everyone on the street uh, know about the importance, right, of the private key. Yeah, like myself, we have implemented many blockchain solution for the enterprises. And one of the key challenges is the users always lose the private key. So although we tell them, okay, you must save your private key, but right now I'm sure many of us here, we don't even write down the password, our own password. If we forget the password, we just click forget password and then I create another password. So, but when it comes to blockchain, it is not how it works. So we have to design it in a way that we can help people to recover like the blockchain account in the enterprise use cases. So this is achieved through a multi-sig feature, where if you lose your private key, the enterprise together with a multiple signature, they can help you to recover. So these are some of the features that have evolved like, over the years in the blockchain, in terms of blockchain technology. So, and then notary services. Notary services is like today you have a certificate, okay, a land registry, land title. So many parts of the world, especially like India, the land registry can be easily tampered due to the fraud. So especially in those third world countries like Africa and all that. So notary services basically provide and guarantee the authenticity of the data. Right. For example, if I have a diploma certificate, I when the university issue the certificate to the student, they basically record the fingerprint of the certificate and store it in the blockchain. And when the student or the graduate receive the certificate in a digital format, for example in PDF, when they send it to companies to apply for a job, the company can easily verify the certificate by uploading the PDF in a web application, and then it will basically check like the fingerprint of the cert or whether it match in the fingerprint in the blockchain. So just like when we go to a bank, we walk into a bank and we say we want to withdraw money. So we have to scan our fingerprint to confirm that I am the owner of the account. So I can't withdraw others people money. So similarly, in the digital world, we have this digital fingerprint to guarantee that, right? And then asset tokenization, people hear about uh, NFT here, right? Non-fungible token. So many people are tokenizing their artwork, right? Their drawing, their music production, and then sell it on the NFT marketplace. So this is one of the trend now. So it create a new type of economy, the digital economy, where now the artists can easily, right, sell their artwork over the world, and then whoever buys the NFT actually represent the copyright or the ownership over the art. So as an artist now, you can make sure that people uh, buy over the copyright of your work rather than uh, people are misusing it like for many years. Right? So now it opens up a new avenue for the artists to actually monetize and protect their intellectual property. So, and then of course, you hear about traceability and supply chain management. Even in Malaysia, um, our COVID vaccination, the vaccination certificate is recorded in the blockchain. So to prevent tampering. So rather than issuing a paper-based certificate, right, where it can be easily faked, and it is very difficult for the verifier, right, to verify that this is a genuine certificate or is it a fake certificate, right? So you can't see it. But having it on an app like My Sejahtera, you can't fake it. So you have to scan, and also it will record from the manufacturer, right? But from the manufacturer of the vaccine manufacturer all the way throughout the supply chain to the logistic company, through the port, import, export, and then finally to the patient. So all these events, right? All these events along the supply chain are recorded in the blockchain, and then finally the certificate is attached to your application, to your app, your phone. So yeah, and many other things like e-commerce, right? And which is also riding on top of supply chain, like Alibaba, DHL, Walmart. They are using blockchain to ensure that the traceability, like the traceability of the supply chain is recorded, so that if there is any issue, if the food is contaminated, or there is some fraud, they can easily identify it because it is all recorded in the blockchain, and it is transparent. No one can tamper it, no one can change it, and then it is transparent to everyone. So you can easily identify uh, where is the issue, or where is the when, right, with the timestamp when the issue uh, is created. So yeah, so and then gaming, I'm sure now you hear about the word GameFi. So basically now people are playing game as a source of income for them. So in many countries, I think you can't imagine that by playing games, you can earn money for your living. Uh, this is more on the cryptocurrency lah. So like when you play the games, the more you play, you earn the cryptocurrency, and you can actually cash it out. So these are some of the use cases today by the blockchain. So and then when it comes to trade financing, so trade financing opens up the opportunity, like for the retail investor or peer-to-peer investor like me and you to take part in the trade finance investment. So when a exporter sell goods to the importer in another country, normally there is a payment term. So, uh, and normally what they go to a bank to get a finance from it, and it is all mainly controlled by the financial institution. So, but by having using blockchain to implement some of these application like trade financing, you allow people to take part, like in the ecosystem. So, like so funding society, it opens up for people to invest, right, in companies. So for companies, for startup, rather than going to the bank to apply for a loan, for a business loan, now they can actually get the loan from the investor, from the lender, with lower interest rate. So all these are the use cases of blockchain around the world. So I believe there will be more and more use cases uh, in the near future, especially when a lot of governments in different countries are pushing this initiative. So yes, I think this is the my last slide, and I yeah I welcome any question that you have, so that I can answer you here.
All right. Thanks, Mr. Joe, for this fruitful sharing about blockchain. Okay, so we have a few questions from the floor. Okay, first is from this question is actually from It's Cindy. All right. She's asking about, hello, I would like to know, does a blockchain and blockchain wallet got any differences? or is it?
Okay,
I'm guessing it's a part of it, or is it the same?
yes, it is part of it. So basically, the wallet is a window to your blockchain account. So when you have this account, like your bank account, it is created within the blockchain. So the wallet is an application for you to access your account. So yeah.
So it's
So
tied. Mainly it's tied to so-called stuff like Bitcoin, stuff like that, lah. Is it
yeah, Bitcoin or any type of token
crypto
that you have.
tokens?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So
So, okay, actually, I asked one of the question myself, lah, and I'm very curious about it. Okay, so, based on your sharing, because blockchain, it actually is a very deep kind of a technology to help out in a lot of lifestyle areas and decision making areas. But
yeah.
why is it became a norm? Whenever people talk about blockchain, right? First thing that comes to their mind will be crypto or even like Bitcoin.
Yeah, because that is the most widely used use case. So
Mm,
Bitcoin is created using the blockchain technology. So that is the first use case for blockchain. And therefore and Bitcoin is so famous, right? The Bitcoin is so
hot
famous.
and
I'm
hot and
sure,
popular, right?
yes, hot and popular. I'm
Mm.
sure you read about the word Bitcoin more than you read about the word blockchain. So
Yes.
so people know about a lot of people when I talk to them, blockchain, they don't know what is blockchain. Blockchain, they never heard of blockchain. But I ask them, do you know Bitcoin? Ah, yes, 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 they know Bitcoin.
Right,
So
right.
that is the
Yes.
reason why uh, the more they understand, oh, they would know, oh, okay, Bitcoin is part of blockchain because it
Mm.
is a cryptocurrency or token created in the blockchain network. So, and therefore, people always link it. When we talk to blockchain, it is always linked to Bitcoin. So, however, I think, but uh, there are more and more awareness, right? Awareness webinar that is carried out to uh, educate the
More
people
about
that
Bitcoin. Lah.
yeah, Bitcoin and blockchain are basically two different kind of. The blockchain is a technology, right? Just like AI, artificial intelligence is a technology,
Mm.
like IoT is a technology. So blockchain is basically a technology,
Mm.
and Bitcoin is a product of the technology. So it is a product. It is a cryptocurrency created using the technology. Of course, you can use AI to create something bad as well, right? So everything they
True.
have the two
True.
sides. So I'm sure
Yeah,
now
lah.
you are aware of the deep fake, thing that you can
Technology. Oh, yes, I heard about it. The
yeah,
deepfake
you can
technology.
change the face of a person. You can copy a person's face and change it and put it onto a
Some
video.
videos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And the
deepfake is
most scary
also
part is it looks very, very, very real, right?
yes, that's the problem.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
it depends how you utilize the technology. So the technology is there, just like the knife is a tool, and how you utilize it. So you can utilize it for a good way, or you can utilize it for a bad way.
Depends on the users, lah, I would say, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So we have another question over here from Nadia Akila. So she's asking about what kind of skill is a must lah? It's a must
Mhm.
to have when you are starting to learn about the blockchain or you wanted to start your journey
Okay,
in this
yeah,
direction.
okay. So like I mentioned just now there are many type of blockchain protocol. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
you have Bitcoin, you have Ethereum, you have Hyperledger, and each of them they are having different programming language. So like Ethereum, they're using Solidity, and Hyperledger they are
Solidity.
using and Hyperledger they are using Chain code. So you need to
Okay.
learn the new programming language or proprietary programming language in order to develop lah, right? In order to develop application on top of blockchain, and therefore it
Mm-hmm.
actually stop many organizations from adopting blockchain because there are not many resources available, especially in Malaysia. Not many developer for Solidity uh, and Hyperledger like Chain Code. So for Proxima X, the blockchain platform that we developed we basically use SDK, software development kit. So we have the software development kit for like JS, JavaScript, TypeScript, or Golang, or Java, or C Sharp, or even Python. So we create the common SDK so that a
Mhm.
developer can easily adopt it. So like Nadia, for example, if Nadia is a developer and she's familiar with JS, like JavaScript, then she can
Mhm.
basically use the JavaScript SDK to integrate or develop an application on top of blockchain. So it basically lower the barrier for the developer to adopt it. Yeah.
Mm.
So
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So yeah, okay, from one Muhammad Faris, this is I believe this is a very interesting question. All right. So if blockchain is so secure, are most of the government are using it to secure their data? For example, to prevent bribery or underground transactions or prevent election fraud. Yeah.
Yes, actually, that is the direction. Honestly, that is the
Mhm.
direction. Like in UAE, United Arab Emirates,
Mhm.
the mandate from the government or from the king is that more than 50%, right, of the government transaction should be carried out on the blockchain, so that it
Mhm.
provide integrity to the government, transparency, integrity to the government. So because we know that the data cannot be tampered, whatever is recorded there with the timestamp is there forever. So you can't like destroying a database. I'm sure we hear about people hear that when changing of government, people start to destroy the hard disk,
Sabotage,
destroy,
is it?
yes,
Uh,
start to sabotage or whatever. So but having
mm,
it in the blockchain network, you can't do that because it is recorded in multiple nodes, right? So
mm,
as a single user, you do not have access to all these nodes. So it become very difficult. So and therefore it is a reason why now a lot of countries like Australia, UAE, UK, they are looking into implementing a blockchain network for their government services, especially when the
mm.
government they are transforming into e-government. So it is
Ah, yes.
easier, right, to adopt blockchain so that the transactions are recorded on the network.
Yeah. So based on your knowledge, is there any country that are already implementing blockchain in their system in so-called areas? Or they are, or you can say most of them are still in the phase of developing or exploring.
Actually, yes, there are many adopted use cases, right?
Ah,
So, for example, for our client in Dubai, Ministry of Community Development,
in Dubai.
they basically use the e-voting, right, on the blockchain. So we develop a blockchain-based e-voting system for them so that it is transparent, so no one can tamper the voting result. And because
Mm-hmm.
under the Ministry of Community Development, they have this association, right? All the
Mm-hmm.
different association is under them, and every year they carry out voting for their committee members, right, or their council
Mm-hmm.
members. So they use the app to basically vote and select and elect the new committee members or new council. So this is one of the use cases. It is implemented since 2018. So and also they use the blockchain to implement the notarization part, where they issue out this certificate to people like OKU. So OKU they will receive a certificate or a card, and they have
Mm-hmm.
different privilege lah, right? So different
Mm-hmm.
type
Yeah.
of subsidy to them. So
Yeah.
so they issue this digital cert, and to avoid people from misusing the certificate by creating a fake certificate, right,
Yeah.
to get the incentive or subsidy. So it is notarized on the blockchain, where meaning all these digital document, like I mentioned, it has a digital fingerprint, a unique fingerprint. Even by changing one character on the document, or by adding
Mm-hmm.
a dot or a comma, the fingerprint will be different. We call it a file hash. So the hash, the fingerprint will be different. So every
Okay.
time, of course, when you submit for any type of subsidy application, it will always check,
Like a
validate.
cross check with the system, right?
Yeah, yeah,
automatically.
yeah.
All right.
So
So we have another one more, I mean two more question. Okay. From MCS Microsystem, I believe this is a company account like YouTube channel, right?
mhm.
So he's asking, how do you manage having private data on blockchain which can be viewed by the public?
Yeah,
Maybe
actually
maybe
you
he's asking
can
about the risk.
correct, correct. So you can basically do that. Although it is a private blockchain, right? It is hosted by, say, for example, a company or an organization. But you, as the owner of the network, you decide who have access to it. So if you want to have these assets for the public, basically you just open up the API, so anyone can access it and check. For example, when it comes to university certificate, right? So if you want anyone, the public, to check the certificates whether it is genuine or the fake certificate, so you open up to the public to access to the blockchain to check. So it really depends on the use cases. So like when it comes to supply chain, right? So in the supply chain, there are it involve many stakeholders, like the manufacturer, the logistic companies, the port authority, the custom, and then maybe the import export agent. So and then the retailer. So if it is only a limited group of user, uh, then you can actually allow this access to this certain group of people, which is your partners or stakeholders. So you can actually decide who have access to your network.
All right, and then the last one from Stephen Lim, he's asking whether where can I understand the products and operation of your company lah. So I think this one will be directly liaising the audience with Joe later lah after this. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, we still have another 6 minutes. So just let me do a fun fact sharing about, not to say blockchain, but it's on Bitcoin lah. Since Bitcoin is so hot and popular right now, right? So if not mistaken, let me see. Yeah, Bitcoin itself, this thing is actually illegal in a few countries, like Saudi Arabia, Nepal, and Bangladesh. Do you have any reason why these type of things are still illegal if it is as good as if we talk about it, like it is untappable and it's so secure? Why
You
some other
mean in
countries they still banning this blockchain or
Bitcoin?
cryptocurrency? Yeah.
Okay. Uh, no country ban blockchain because blockchain is just a technology.
The
Like
technology they didn't
yes,
ban it,
so but
but
they ban the cryptocurrency. Because
okay.
the cryptocurrency is used in a negative way. So like for example, money laundering, or to avoid tax, paying tax, this kind of thing, or you are
Mm,
transferring money to sanctioned countries, right? So some of these sanctioned countries, if you go through a bank, you can't transfer the money, but in the Bitcoin network, there is no this type of limitation. You basically can transfer Bitcoin to any account. So and therefore many countries they are banning cryptocurrency because of this, and also there are many scams evolve around cryptocurrency. So honestly, I can
mm,
tell you today we have a thousand, easily few thousands of cryptocurrency, and I would
yes.
say 95% of them are scam. So
Yeah.
they just create probably a multi-level marketing scheme and ask you to
True.
invest in the cryptocurrency, and then they promise you the price will raise 10 times,
To
20
get the
times
profit
next year.
lah, right?
Yes. So and
To earn from
therefore,
the spread.
yeah, therefore the regulator, especially Bank Negara, they actually list out all these suspicious
Cryptos.
cryptocurrency scheme, and then they actually ban it. But like other
Mm,
countries, when it comes to Bitcoin, there are uh, two side lah. Okay, two side
mm.
of in China. I'm sure you recently hear China is banning cryptocurrency or
Banning
Bitcoin.
the all
Okay,
cryptocurrency
yeah.
activities.
But however, in the US, they are starting to accept it, right? So there are
Mm,
things like ETF is going on, and many places are accepting Bitcoin as a payment. So it depends how you view it. For some countries, like in
mm,
Malaysia, actually we accept, right? Bitcoin,
mm,
you can legally invest in Bitcoin through
Yeah.
the license operator, the license exchange, like
Mm-hmm.
Luno, like Tokenize, and Synergy. So they have given out 3 license in
Mm-hmm.
Malaysia. So you can buy the Bitcoin. So it is legal. It is not. It is not illegal. So it depends how the government uh, view it,
On handle the
and
thing, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Oh, we have another question, one more question from Zyrene. All right.
Mhm.
Hi, I'm working in agriculture ministry. Okay. Could we apply blockchain to know authenticity products in market, such as ice cream, durian from Mali, and so on? Lah, that's an example. Do the customers scan a QR code on the packaging, etc.? Can you explain how it works?
Yes, this is one of the common use cases for supply chain, right? So uh, previously, I'm sure if let's say I sell you a durian, I tell you this is Musang King. Can you verify it? You can't, as a normal person, you can't verify, like maybe it is just a
Mm-hmm.
normal kampung durian or D24, and say it is a Musang King. So, and by implementing blockchain, not only blockchain, actually like a combination of multiple technology like QR code. Like QR code is also one of the technology, maybe like IoT. So basically, what you can do is from the plantation, from the plantation, when you harvest the fruit, so probably you have the people on the ground, the plantation workers or the farmers that actually scan it, right? So when you harvest it, okay, this batch of durian, I scan a QR code to validate it, that the timestamp and also the location where you scan it. So also if the plantation is in Bentong, right, where it is famous for producing Musang King, so the GPS location will validate it,
Mm-hmm.
and then the timestamp, and then it will be recorded in the blockchain. And then along the way, when I transfer it to another supplier. So then the supplier can scan it. So then this event is also recorded in the blockchain. So it shows the entire flow of the product from the manufacturing all the way until the consumer. So by using a QR code, yes, it is a simpler way for consumer to scan. So when you scan it, basically it will go to the blockchain and retrieve the information from blockchain and show whether this is where is the country of origin or location of origin, what type of durian is this. So but then like I mentioned, people can easily change the QR code, right? So you can fake the QR code as well. So if I take this QR code and put it onto another product, so when other consumer actually scan it, it will still show this is from who and who, from Mali, for example. So we have to combine with different technology. Like there is a thing called super QR code. Like one of our partner is providing this solution to the Ministry of Health. If today you go to any pharmacy and you buy the medicine, you can see a QR code at the packaging. So they
Mm-hmm.
use special type of technology to
Mm-hmm.
print the QR code. So if you fake the QR code, as in you print it yourself, when you scan, it will be able to show this is a fake product. So this is some of this Industry 4.0 technology that is in place to prevent faking. Because blockchain itself is just a ledger, right, like a database. So if you, for example, like I mentioned, if the human they take this QR code and put it somewhere else, or fake a QR code, then there's no way for blockchain to validate. Right? So when people scan it, it will just retrieve the data from the blockchain and show the information. So you have to couple it with this type of anti or secure printing technology to ensure that the QR code cannot be easily printed. So it must be printed by the authorized body, for example, MADI. So
Mm-hmm.
MADI print it, and if anyone try to fake the QR code from MADI, it will be detectable. So when the consumer scan it, it will know, okay, this uh, is not the
Like
original
authentic
QR code from,
products, lah.
yeah, not the authentic product
Mm.
from MADI. So it's basically
Alright.
like the fake note that we have. Like today in the market, we always hear about fake. money currency, the fake note.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, so basically they use special type of ink, right, which is a
Mm-hmm.
control item. So only the secure printing provider or the license operator like Madi will be able to purchase this type of ink. So and then when you scan the QR code, then it becomes they know whether this is fake or not. So similarly,
Mm-hmm.
for when you go to a bank, if you give them a fake note, the officer at the counter they can't identify, so they will put it in a machine, and then the machine will scan it. So if you are not using the genuine code, if it's a fake note, fake money, the what do you call the printing, the ink, the printing ink is different, and then it will easily detect it that okay, this is fake note.
Mm.
Yeah.
Understand. Okay, I think we are at the end of the sharing session today, and also it's a shame lah because a few of my friends they are very interested in this blockchain technology, but due to the last minute pop up meetings they had today, they can't just join us today lah, right? But no worries, everyone. So to all the audience and your friends, if you were to be interested in the content again, you want to refresh about it. Okay, after this, we will be uploading this whole content sharing into the YouTube on our channel. So stay tuned. All right, it will be around by tomorrow lah, latest by tomorrow. Okay, so okay, thank you, Joe, for this talk today. Okay, and then also definitely a big thank you for all the audiences that taking your time with us lah. Okay, stay tuned with our next free talk next month because this tea time data sharing talk we have it monthly. All right. So later we'll be posting out our social media links in the description, and feel free to follow it so that you can join on all these interesting talks and sharing workshops in the future. All right. Okay. Have a nice day to Mr. Joe. Okay, and also to
Thank you.
everyone. Thank you, and
Yeah,
have a good
have a
day.
nice day.
Bye bye.
Yeah, bye bye.